You know, I've always talked about this. There are 3 stages of being an icon. And when I say an icon, and this counts for our current president, this counts for business people, this counts for singers, comedians, sports stars. There's 3 stages to be an icon. Number 1 is, I want to show you how talented I am. Eminem releases an album, you're like, wow, holy LeBron breaks into the league, Kobe breaks into the league, Elon Musk breaks into business. The first stage is, I'm going to show you how great I am. You got a lot of energy. You're young. You make mistakes, but, man, you just burrow through them. You're going 1,000 miles an hour skiing down that hill, man. You are going 1,000 miles an hour. The first stage of an eventual icon is, look how much talent I have. And then there is the second stage to the icon. And the second stage is the accumulation of titles and achievements and Emmys and Grammys. Now you start winning awards. Because after 5 or 6 years of showing everybody how great you are, ooh, he does good music. Ooh, he can really act. Oh, she can really act. Oh, he's a good business guy. Ooh, he's smarter than everybody. The second stage for LeBron and Kobe and Jay-Z and Eminem and the great comedians, winning awards. Your peers bestow upon you respect. So the first stage is, look how funny, look how great, look how talented. The second is awards, critical acclaim, achievement. The third stage, though, and you think this is the best stage, but it's got problems too. It's called the Mogul Stage. Now you've shown everybody how great you are. Now you've won your Grammy. You've won your Comedian of the Year. You've won your Oscar. You've won your NBA titles. Now the brand becomes number 1. It's not that you're not still great, but it's easy to get content. It's easy to get lazy. It's easy to get bored. It's easy to get fried. LeBron James is in the Mogul Stage. Now, Justin Timberlake and Eminem in the last couple of months have both released an album. Neither one of them is being well received. Now, why would that be? Because we know they're both smarter than they've ever been. They're more worldly than they've ever been. They are more experienced than they've ever been. They've got a greater set of producers and writers than they ever have, but yet both of those CDs aren't as good as their best early work. And why is that? Because they're not inspired. And that, my friends, is the problem with the Mogul Stage. Kobe Bryant scored 60 in his last game. One last inspiration. He could have scored 50 and 60 the previous month every night. He needed inspiration. Taylor Swift was great. Now she's content. Mogul Stage, work's not as good. LeBron James, it's not an excuse, it's a reason. When you move into the Mogul Stage, you can still be fantastic, but it is harder to be engaged. It is harder to be inspired because you got your money. You've shown everybody how good you are. You have your rings. You're now a mogul. You're at the top of the mountain. You can still be the best guy skiing down it, but you need inspiration. And it's hard when you're rich, and it's hard when you've already checked the first 2 boxes of the icon status. I've always said this about comedians. Comedians come out and they show you funny work. And then they get on a TV show and they make a bunch of money. And then comedians start buying their 3rd, 4th, 5th house, and they're not as funny anymore. Why? Because comedians are the little guys. They make fun of the rich and powerful. But what happens when the paradigm shifts and the comedian is rich and powerful? Then they start lecturing you. They start telling you who you have to vote for or you're stupid, and they're not funny anymore. But then occasionally that great comedian can reel off a Netflix special or a Showtime special or an HBO special, and you're like, damn, bro still got it. He's always had it. But he's in the 3rd stage of icon, and that's mogul. And LeBron James, after 14 years being the centerpiece of this league, was completely fried. And he wasn't playing very well. And then the rookie GM, Koby Altman, surrounded him with a bunch of young, long, athletic, fun guys. And you saw what happened yesterday. Like, to me, forget Rodney Hood, forget all the pieces around him. Whatever this group of young guys did, LeBron was like laughing and joyful. And I'm like, oh, he's the classic icon who wasn't inspired. The album's bad. And yesterday, so to me, this whole trade's about engaging LeBron again.
No, there's no question about it. He wasn't putting forth his optimal effort. I mean, there's no reason the Skip Bayless had a stat which before you went on vacation, he shared with us. Jason Whitlock talked about on Speak for Yourself, which was, he had over the last 7 weeks the lowest plus minus in the entire NBA. Okay, you only do that if you're trying to be bad. You're sending a message, right?
Right.
And he was sending a message that he was unhappy. And a happy LeBron is a productive LeBron. But again, this is short-term happiness. Long-term, will it be successful? And I think what the Cavs had tried to do was get older veteran players, maybe too many specialists for the playoffs. And the problem with that, and I told you that to start the year, was those pieces tend to break down. Those pieces they may say they can fit into those roles, but Dwayne Wade's never been a role player in his past.
Right.
Derrick Rose has never been a role player. Isaiah Thomas had never been a role player, right? So you ask these guys to be role players, and they don't play well in the sandbox. Now, the group that he got, they're just happy to be there, right? I mean, look, you get George Hill, who was in Sacramento, and he was mailing it in. Wasn't playing defense, just shooting threes, just doing enough. Rodney Hood, he'd worn out his welcome in Utah. He's up and down as a shooter. And, Jordan Clarkson, overpaid in L.A. by a previous regime. They didn't love him. Same thing with Larry Nance, previous regime's player. So now they're all energized, and he feeds off that energy.
Right.
LeBron's one of those guys. I think you're like this, where you feed off the energy of others.
Yes.
But it's just one game, dude. Because in the playoffs, there's a reason that LeBron wanted to surround himself with veteran players. Because veteran players like Dwayne Wade, they don't have it for 82 games. But they might have it for that one game. That one time you need it, suddenly Dwayne Wade can recapture those superpowers. Yeah. Suddenly Derrick Rose can recapture those superpowers. They have it, and they've been there before, so they know what it's like. So while I think short term they're going to be bouncing and happy and energetic, let's see what happens when they get to playoffs, because it's a completely different level of competition, completely different sport in the playoffs as opposed to the regular season.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.